song may be on my mind. Here goes. Jared, cue me up, buddy. Acapella, yes, acapella. And a one and a two. Because I really always knew that my little crime would be cold. That's why I got a heater for your thighs. And I know it's not your time. But bye-bye. And a word to the wise, when the fire dies, you think it's over, but it's just begun. Baby, don't cry. You had my heart, at least for the most part. $10 if you can name me that song. $10. Call in right now. 1-800. Shut the fuck up. Okay, guys, welcome to the stream. I'm just playing around with y'all. I'm just playing. My coffee's almost here. We're going to get started shortly. Let me give you all the rundown since we're waiting this time. You know what? I think I'll do the longer intro just every other. That sounds like a good plan. So, here's the rundown. Here's what the hell you're watching. This is the Swift and SwiftUI Learnalong. This is the stream where you watch a guy, me, Tao, delivery print. Oh, there it goes. Man, I'm not going to complain because he got here. Coffee's here. All right, brother. Okay, anyway, so the intro. Actually, let me grab my coffee first. All right, now we can get to crack-a-like-a-like-a-like-a-like-a. Crack-a-like-a-like-a. We can do it. Oh, we can do it. Ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-ba. Bam. Now I just need to hit that background music, brother. Get that little flag going, brother. Live drawing on the whatever. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Feel that? Oh, yeah. Now let me get a swig of water. I might need to wait on this coffee. Cause I really always knew that my little crumb would be cold. That's why I got a heater for your thighs. And I know it's not your time. Bye-bye. 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 Okay, anyway, so here's the intro, brother, sister. This is me. And the object of this stream, or the objectives of this stream. We're doing a deep dive into Swift, right? So you are coming in on if this is the first time encountering this stream, this is episode 27 of this Learn Along. So we're doing Swift and SwiftUI, not in tandem really. SwiftUI will follow Swift. So right now we are working through the Big Nerd Ranch Guide, which is the Big Nerd Ranch Guides, plural, is what would you call it? A product line, a series of books. So Big Nerd Ranch is, a company. They put out educational material. They might do other things, I don't know. But either way, these are fantastic. Got to use my old white guy voice. Fantastic. But seriously, these are fantastic. And so that's what we're using. Okay, so that's point number one. You're learning with me. I call it fly on the wall learning. Okay, we're not I'm not like, my objective here is not to entertain you. My objective here is, number one, to learn this myself, because I don't know this. So this is not a situation where I'm like doing market research and looking for like, oh, how can I gain a niche? How can I get my slice of the pie with streaming? No. I'm just a working man like everybody else. Started a company. Me and my girl are gonna have a little app shop, right? And but it all starts here. We gotta learn the language first. Now, I come from 10 years in industry working for an ERP service company. So we, if you know what an ERP is, like, SAP, AccountMate, Sage, Microsoft Dynamics, those kind of enterprise, things you run your business on. So I gained a lot of experience there. It's, started in sales. By the time I left, I was writing programs. And so huge amount of experience, but more importantly, most of our customers were food distributors, AKA they had physical inventory. And if you know anything about manufacturing or really inventory control in general, there's many challenges around that. And so the app that we're going to eventually build is going to be my iteration on a solution for material resource planning. We can talk about all that more later. Just know that there's a goal here. And so if you stick around, and I hope you do, you'll definitely learn something. But hopefully you learn everything that I learn. And so I'm going to do my best to, I'm literally reading the book to the stream, to the ether, out to the ether, but also to myself. And the idea is that you learn along. See how it all comes full circle, baby. So that's the idea here. So we're going to go through Swift, finish this book, then we'll go into a SwiftUI course, learn that so we can write GUIs. Then we'll do some app planning so you guys will be able to see what it looks like to design a schema. For a web application, it'll be a web backend. The front end will be an iOS interface, or iPad OS and iOS. So you'll see the whole kit and caboodle effectively. So this is going to be going for quite some time. Yeah, and that's the biz. So let's get cracking. Download and install. What is this? Oh, brother, there's an update. Chingo. This shouldn't take that long. Okay, while we're waiting on that, I'd just like to say a little something about tipping. Okay, brother. The next time I go to a fucking sandwich shop or something like that, a damn franchise, like a chain, and it asks me to tip them, on the little checkout thingy, I might lose my mind. Where do they get off? Obviously, it's not the employees, but that's the guilt trip, I think, and I think they know that. But that's paltry and is bullshit. Pay these kids more, or they can just, suck it. But, we should not, we being the consumer. So, this includes those very same people, because the very same people that you could argue are getting, the short end of the stick here are also consumers themselves, and you better believe they go to these places. And I just think it's bullshit. Stop doing it. And we can't even really blame them for putting it in front of us, because people are doing it. That's why they put it there. They know they can guilt trip you. Stop fucking tipping. At places, if you go up to the damn counter, pick up your own food, you're making the order. If you're not getting served by a waiter, like, stop. Don't Cut it out, brother. The easiest thing to say is just stop getting guilt tripped into tipping, because it's just going to get worse, okay? And if everybody stops being such a damn ninny about it, I really got to stall. So here, I'm really going to string this one out. But if everyone just stopped being a ninny about it, the pressure would go away. We control the pressure. We are the pressure, brother. So the next time it comes up, just start talking about it. Just tell a friend. Stop fucking tipping at the counter. How about this? If the person that you are paying, giving the money to, if they ain't sweating, don't tip them. It's the easiest thing. If they ain't break a sweat to do what they needed to do, don't tip them. Unless they're a waiter, because like with waiters, we know this. They get paid, a paltry hourly wage. But that's different. You're being served. I believe in a tip. I don't believe in gratuities. What, just because I walked in with 20 people, you forced me to tip? Fuck that kind of energy, brother. But no, I mean, waiters deserve it. That's not what I'm saying. But if I go to fucking Brahms, or where did we go? Where did me and my girl went to? Ben and Jerry's. Went to a fucking Ben and Jerry's. Talking about a tip. A tip for these. Never mind. Let me not say that. But again, it's not the employee's fault. It really is not. It's our fault. Stop being guilt tripped into it, brother. God damn, that's a big ass update. Well, you know what we can do until then? Let's go look at. So Swift 6 is coming out in September. And so we can go read some of these some of the updates. I was hoping, you know what? I always forget that I have a, I think Sha'Carri Richardson is just a doll, to be real. And I just, it's funny because I see her and I think she's a doll, and I see, I forget her name, Brie Larson? Yeah, Brie Larson. And Brie obviously she's not ugly. I don't get down like that. I would never call someone that word on stream. But I just think it's interesting that I'm only saying she's not ugly because I actually do think she's mildly attractive. But the problem is that, if you know anything about her, if you watched the interviews, read the articles, I'm a big Marvel geek, so I kept up with all the drama. And it's kind of obvious, too, that the things that are said about, this person are likely true. We don't know this. I don't know this. I don't know her. But when you watch the interviews with her other Marvel constituents, if you've never watched the marketing interviews with her and what's his name? Thor. I cannot think of his name, but you know who I'm talking about. Thor. Everyone knows Thor. And Chris Hemsworth? Yeah. And Don Cheadle. There's an interview with the three of them, and they're promoting, I think they're promoting the Avengers Endgame, I think. But man, that's pretty awkward, brother. Yeah, it's awkward. I wonder if I'm not gonna play it. This isn't that kind of stream. But no, just go check it out. Okay. But anyway, I was gonna go to Medium because I'm hoping, I forget I actually pay for this. I think it's like $5 a month. Anyway, I'm hoping that there is a nice little article. Swift 6. There you go. What's new in Swift 6? There's always a brother writing. 21-minute read. God damn. This one's from December. This is in March. Oh. February. Nice. Okay, let's read this here. All right, so. Ooh, can this read it to us? Even better, brother. Let's see. Apple is planning to release
Swift 6 new features.
Okay, that won't work. Playing out of the wrong. Okay, I'll read it to you, brother. All right, Apple is planning to release Swift 6 in September 2024 alongside Xcode 16. Nice. This will be the This will be the first major Swift update in 5 years since Swift 5. That's pretty crazy. That's a long tenured. Well, no, that's super long. I was gonna say Go's versions. No, I think Go was doing maybe 2 majors a year. Yeah, so that's a pretty long time, brother. This release will be on the 10th anniversary of Swift. Wow. Over the years, Swift has evolved significantly from a mere improvement over Objective-C to a safe multi-paradigm and performant language that is easy to use. Yeah. I was just thinking of Chris Latner, the guy that created Swift, recently had he did an interview on Developer Voices. I'll show y'all after. That's actually a great podcast that I think you can learn a lot from. So actually, let me just show you right now, because you should definitely just go sub right now and just watch really all of them. The host dude, Chris, I think his name is also Chris, maybe. But either way, this is the one here. Mojo, Python meets the metal. I know it's about Mojo, but Swift is talked about quite a bit, somewhere in the middle chunk, just because he's talking about lessons learned from Swift. So Swift was, no longer his most recently created language. Now that's Mojo, which is a superset of Python, and it's really AI oriented. So a lot of the hardware level abstractions are going to be built into the syntax, so I think it's a long ways out either way. I mean, you can already use it. It's so far away, so it's hard to say anything about it. I'm not saying go learn it at all. That's not what I'm saying. We're not going to cover it or whatever. Just making the point. But yeah, go subscribe, Developer Voices, and highly recommend. Like, this one is a good one. Python meets the metal. There is this the DuckDB one is great. I would watch this one because DuckDB, we're going to work with DuckDB, so don't worry. I mean, even if you don't see this, you will learn DuckDB, because DuckDB is high on my list of things to learn. But it's an in-memory database, kind of like OLAP style, but cutting edge type thing. Odin is another great one. We will cover Odin, I think, more than likely after all the Swift stuff. Once we're done with all of it. I think I really, 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 really want to come back and do the same thing we did for Swift, but for Odin. Odin is you can think of it like an alternative to C. But it's really cool because it already has. So most languages can't, Odin is unique in this way, but unique in the sense that this company, right, Imbrigen, or is it? No, it's Jenga FX. That's the company, I believe. Imbrigen is the product, and it creates fire, smoke, and explosions in real time, graphical effects, for CGI, stuff like that. And it's already in use. I mean, look at this. Yeah, Bungie. Look at all these game studios, big game studios, Rare, Sega. Well, like they're a big hitter still, but you get it. Clearly, Ubisoft. Okay, there we go. There's a biggie. Bastards. All right, but they ruined Assassin's Creed. What were they thinking? But no, but yeah, we're going to cover this. It'll either be this or it'll be V. We'll see. We'll see. But this is great, and I'm just showing you this because Odin is the language they use to write Embergen. So it's like, it's been in production. I mean, it literally, this company, it was, what's the term? Dog food. They dog fooded it, meaning they just built the thing that they needed internally, continued to develop it, open sourced it. And the guy that authored the language, Ginger Bill, that's his choice to be called that, Ginger Bill, seriously. That's him right there, Ginger Bill. He works there. So he works, on the language and there. And so it's a really cool story, and it has a lot to offer comparatively to other languages in that way. Most other languages that are new, especially the ones that are new, they don't have, they can't tout that kind of completeness even, or an assurance that it's like a quote unquote production ready programming language. So that's really unique about Odin. Yeah, but anyway, go follow them. And actually, while I'm at it, I might as well point you to this guy too, just in case. If you want to learn a lot about GUIs and whatnot, this dude actually, he writes other stuff, but right now he's really into Odin too. But this guy, Carl Zielinski, he does a lot of Raylib stuff, so if you're into that, I would go check him out. All right, now have I stalled long enough, brother? Is this still going? Shucks. Oh, well, we got the article anyway, but where's my... I really wish macOS, like, why didn't it show me... That's always been really annoying to me. Like, when I go to the app switcher, I have no way of getting to that little download window. It doesn't show as an app. It doesn't, and like when the browser is here, right? I have no way to get to it unless I just minimize everything and go chase it. It's really quite lame, if I'm being real with you. But show all windows, what show here? Okay, I guess I can do that. Click like 5 times. Yeah, that's great. But let's go finish the article, and then it should be done by then. Okay. The major... Okay. Apple had previously mentioned there would be a succession of Swift 5.x versions introducing incremental changes and new features to pave the way for Swift 6. The major goals mentioned were to improve concurrency support and the memory ownership model. At this point, these have been achieved to a great extent. Interesting. I'd like to know what happened with the memory. I thought the whole ARC thing, when it first came out, was supposed to be like, the next sliced bread. Okay, so here's the timeline. Swift 5.1, September 2019, added opaque return types, which is a foundation feature for SwiftUI. Okay. Implicit returns. Oh, added opaque return types. Is there a comma? There's no added up. Okay. Implicit returns and module format stability. Added implicit returns. That's interesting. 5.2, March 2020. Dang. Yeah, they were really taking their time. Brought features like key path expressions. Oh, we just learned that yesterday. As functions. And improved diagnostics. 5.3, September 2020. Brought various language improvements, such as multi-pattern errors catching. We covered that too. Multiple trailing closures. Oh. Dang, you can chain closures, dude. Huh. And Swift package manager improvements. Yeah, I've yet to touch their package manager, so hopefully it's not dookie. April 2021, 5.4 added support for multiple variadic parameters and functions. And result builder. No way. So this book must be, I mean, so far everything has worked, but I know the book referenced that you can only have one variadic parameter, but now apparently you can have multiple. So that's cool. That's good. And that's basically, if you recall, that's when you don't necessarily know how many arguments, like you want to write a function, but you don't necessarily know how many inputs there will be. So that's awesome. I mean, that's vastly simplified. Yeah, because this would be great for, like, I mean, probably many things, but I know for sure for like ETL, ingesting different formats. Like if I remember writing Go apps for, ETL type jobs, and I would have to ingest like 10 to 15 different text formats, and I wouldn't necessarily know on a given ingress whether, like, which one I was getting. So I just had to write, like in Go, there is no variadic. Yeah, that's what's that? So I just had to write all of them, like all the possibilities. It's a nightmare. It's a lot of code, but thank you, SQL C. I mean, definitely made it easier. But yeah, Swift 5.5, September 2021. Man, this is all 2021. It's so crazy that I won't even, whatever, doesn't matter. Okay. 5.5 was a massive update, bringing concurrency-focused features like async await. It just got that, brother? That's really shocking. Well, I mean, that was 3 years ago. But that's still, I mean, the fact that I know it was modeled syntactically to some degree after JavaScript, because Chris said as much, but well, I mean, he didn't point towards those, but they're all C-based. Whatever. My point is, I'm surprised that I don't know, I'm just surprised, but maybe it made sense to wait because things were evolving and we didn't know what the web, I don't know, maybe. Async sequences, structured concurrency, actors, global actors. Swift just does everything. It has like actors are from, the functional realm. Dang, man. And sendable protocol closures. And protocols are just a Swift thing as far as or at least I've never heard. Not that I know it all, but in terms of like the mainstream languages, I've never heard of something akin to, that the protocol functionality being in a different language. It also enables the long-awaited, well, I guess other, like Elixir had, well, so did Go, I guess. You have ways of making things, like either visible to other source files via imports, and you can make some private with certain syntax, but not to the degree that Swift protocols does. Interchangeable, wait. Yeah. It also enables the long-awaited interchangeable use of CG float and double types. This update laid the groundwork for other concurrency-related updates. Okay. Swift 5.6. This is where we hopped in. March 2022. Further improved concurrency and language refinements like type placeholders and existential any. It also added plugins for Swift Package Manager. Nice, brother. Swift 5.7, September 2022. Introduced shorthand syntax for unwrapping optionals. Swift regex. So that's what's weird. Like, if the book can't be that old then, because we definitely covered this. So I probably just misunderstood what they were saying about the variadic, but that's likely. or a lot more likely than them making a mistake, especially big nerds. So, but wait, if let shorthand for shadowing in existing. I hate these foo bar. It's just what? It can't be that difficult to conjure like a decent example, you know? Foo bar, doo dar doo. What, brother? What the hell are you talking about? Okay, so 5.7. Introduce shorthand syntax for unwrapping optionals. Oh, regex. Oh, cool. I want to see that too. Swift regex. Oh, look at that. Oh, dude. Yeah, I like that. I can already tell I like it. Okay, 5.9. Relax limitations on variables in result builders. I don't know what those are yet, but it sounds interesting. Improved implicit self and allowed back deployment of functions. That all sounds advanced. 5.9 enhanced generics with value and type parameter packs, which eliminated the 10 view limit in SwiftUI. Added macros. Dang. Improved control flow with if and switch expressions. Wow, those are that new, huh? That's awesome. Those are probably my favorite. Well, not the if. I mean, the ifs are fine, but I get it. But the switch statements are really cool. Feels like I'm writing SQL again. And added the ability to discard task groups. No clue. Close March 2024 5.10. Closes all known static data race safety holes and complete strict concurrency checking. Wow, brother. Congratulations. Dang. See, brother, we're on the right ship. I'm telling you, it's a big ass language, and I really think, honestly, it's just a cleaner C++. Seriously. And probably eventually will be equally as complex, but hopefully not as, since it's Apple, still, hopefully the ecosystem and the tooling has a bit more of a streamlined story, than you would find with C++, but it's been around so long, you never know. Swift 6 will build upon this base. Let's dive into the most noticeable features. I used to have... Is this what this... No, that's not what that is. I thought there was like a read mode or something. Screenshot. Read aloud, learning. And maybe not. Maybe that was a plugin. No matter. Okay, features. Expression macro as caller side argument. User-defined macros can now be used as a default argument. Oh, hold on. Let me beef up my... You know why I love Edge? I'm using Edge, by the way, and you should too. Why? Because it's Chrome, but better. I mean, it's literally Chrome. It has the same underlying browser, but different wrappers. But better for a few reasons. First of all, it has a bunch of tools built into it that are really handy. What tools are those? Oh, I'm glad you asked, brother. So you got a screenshot thingy. And the best part is all of these you can turn off, so that's important to me. Because AI is also built into this, and you might like that. I don't. I think it's fucking annoying. Nothing against AI. We use it all the time on this stream, but yeah, I don't want it trying to do everything for me and fucking up. All right, so, but anyway, yeah, so this read aloud, it actually has really good, I'm not feeding my Mac OS audio in, so you wouldn't be able to hear it, but Edge actually has, it's basically open AI, right? It's the same, come on. So they have the same technology, so their voice, like when it reads to you, because that's what's neat too, you can just, any page, any web page, just go up to the top, and they can just read it to you. And the voices sound, damn near human. They've done a really good job. It's not nearly the robotic kind of stuff that we've come to expect. Just through past experience, it's really good. And also, here's the big one. Ready for this? Oh my gosh. Split screen. Or split app, split window. I can go left to right. You can link the tabs. So I still don't know why that is the default, but you can do it. Maybe there's a good reason. I just can't think of it. But if you link the tabs, then you'll have the same web page, but 2 different views. Oh, well, I guess I can see, like, maybe one, like, if you ever read those books that are just like one long ass HTML document, I guess you could be looking at a reference point and then at, on the other side, some other point in the book. Okay, answer my own question. But yeah, so you can do that. You can swap them easily. You can even switch it like this. So if you're a portrait person, like portrait person, if you're a portrait orientation, like you like your screen's portrait orientation, you can do it like this, and you can still resize it, either way. And what's really neat is both of these web pages, right? Top and, well, let me switch it back. Left and right, vertically, yeah. The best part, they have separate zooms, which is just, may not seem like a big deal. It's a big deal. Because if you think about it, most of the time, like, even though, yeah, like I use a lot of apps day to day, but still most of the time, it's a web page. And so now you got 2 of them right there. Bam. Now also, check this out. This is also a big deal. If you ain't won over yet, you're about to be. See that button in the top left right there? See that up there? You see what that says? Vertical tabs. Built right in. Look at that. Look at all that space. And this always drove me bonkers about Chrome. So I'm like, dude. Because I used to, now I have it, because Edge also has this cool setting. And yeah, you can just pop over like this, and it'll pop out for you. Where's my mouse? It'll pop out, or you can pin it. It'll stay there. Now also really cool, you go here, you can have it organize your tabs. So just based on, the metadata, and it does a pretty good job. Look at that. And then it'll create a little group for you. Group tabs. Oh yeah, brother. Now, and the really cool thing is, well, so there's a setting, you can pin the tab, it'll save the group. Now, neither Chrome nor Edge is doing a little bit of a better job, because at least it'll group them for you. But both kind of, I tried all the browsers, trust me. I even tried Rhinobox or whatever the fuck. Like, there's all these little proprietary ones that try to bring everything. What was the one that I tried? It was really good. But ultimately, it's still just, it's a browser. Damn it, what was it called? It has a little, like, octopus on it. It's called, God damn it, alternative browsers. It's called something box, Rhinobox. It was really good. It just, for me, because I was doing web dev at the time, it interact correctly with the dev tools. So it's kind of a deal breaker, but otherwise it was cool. I can't remember what it's called. It's something box. There was two decent ones that, not Vivaldi. Bro, Rhino box? Rambox. Right? Rambox, yeah, okay, so I want to give them some shine too. So it's really neat. So it gives you, it's a desktop app, you know, but it's a browser. But it's a proprietary app. It does have a subscription. But if you're feeling overwhelmed and you do a lot of your work on the web, you have a lot of accounts you sign in and out of. That's really honestly the biggest, probably the biggest value add for these. Like all the features that they bring, and that's fine. But honestly, most of those, if they're not already in Chrome or Edge or hell, even Safari to some degree, not Firefox, though Firefox is fucking up, but eventually most of those convenience features will be there. Like this has actually, what am I saying? Edge did add that, now that I think about it. So the cool thing about this app was that you can have, you know, multiple profiles. So if you sign into different accounts, it can remember. So you can even sign into, say, the same app 3 different times in 3 different profiles and just easily hop between them. Because if you ever had to switch accounts before on the same browser, you know how annoying that is to sign out and then it remembers your old credentials and it's caching everything. It's really fucking annoying. But yeah, actually I forgot, Edge has that too. I turned it off, but it has profiles. So you can do the same thing. Now, another cool thing about Edge, you can send tabs to other devices, your phone, Windows. This is a Mac, you know, it can still send across device. It's just a great freaking browser, and all the extensions from Chrome work. Edge has its own, like Edge specific extensions, but they can commingle. So there's, like, most of these don't actually have an Edge specific version. I just downloaded the ones from the Chrome store and it works just fine because it's the same browser underneath. Okay, now it should be done updating, brother. It did, yeah. Did you update, brother? Xcode. Okay, we'll let that fire up. All right, let's finish the damn article so we can. I don't know how I get derailed so hard. Okay. All right, so they added expression macro as caller side argument. That's pretty advanced, brother. User-defined macros can now be used as a default argument, just like built-in macros. When user-defined macros are used as default arguments, they are expanded at the call site, whereas when they are used as sub-expressions or default arguments, they are expanded at the place they are written. For example, consider the following functions using my file. Okay, I'm not going to look at that because we just haven't covered it yet, so no need to try to decipher something we have not learned. Packet iterations, yeah, nah, we won't look at that. Tuples conform to equatable, comparable, and hashable. Since tuples lack the ability to conform to protocols, many developers stopped using tuples altogether in favor of structs that can conform to protocols. Tuples now conform to equatable, comparable, and hashable if their elements conform to the said protocols. Okay. Also not sure what that might mean, but we won't get in there yet. Typed throws. Ooh, I know what that means, and that's a great thing. Typed throws. Errors in Swift are always type erased. Oh, to any error, which encourages writing generalized error handling code. God. Once SC413 has been implemented, functions and closures can throw concrete error types. Okay. I mean, it sounds very useful. Let's see. Func call cat throws Oh, that's cool, man. I mean, we haven't covered that yet, but that just makes perfect sense. Man, God bless. Yeah, every day I feel it more and more like I made the right choice. According to the State of Developer Ecosystem 2023, surveyed by JetBrains, Objective-C is objectively retired. Objective-C has lost 2/3 of its users in the last 6 years. Damn. And in the past year, only 2% of the respondents used it in 2023. 2%. Also, according to the study on Apple's use of Swift and SwiftUI in Apple's binaries, the usage of SwiftUI grew by 70%, while Swift usage grew by 50% from iOS 16 to 17. Damn. Hell yeah, brother. That's why it's a great time to get in, because 6 is not going to bring, well, maybe there might be, but based off what I'm reading and what I've read previously, everything in 6 is actually already in the language, but they are opt-in features. Well, assuming you're on, like if you have 5.10, then you have what 6 is bringing in your build. It's just the defaults are different than whenever you download, install, Swift 6. Now the other behaviors will be opt-in, and the new stuff, like some of the newer stuff that we read about here, will be the defaults. So we can, whenever that happens, since this is coming out in, when is it? Does it say it is clear? Or did it say it at the top? When's it coming out? Yeah, September. So by then we'll have, code written, projects written. So yeah, I mean, that'll be a good exercise. We can just, if it does break something, we can, fix it together. But yeah, it shouldn't, from what I'm reading. Or if so, it'll be minimal, but nothing like, it's not Python 2 to 3 or like Common JS to, ES modules, that kind of bullshit. Ugh, makes me shudder to think. But yeah, so, okay, good, it's done. Monster Town copy. All right, so now at long last, after stalling for almost an hour, here we come. Here we go, brother. Actually, I see that I am all alone currently, so I'm going to check. Audio check, baby. Audio check. Kind of works out because I got groceries on the way too, brother. Oh, he's at Costco still. Okay, so let's look at the old stream-a-ding-dong. Turn off the mic because I don't want to replay that. Okay, yeah. It seems like it's alright. Getting there. Get in there. Yeah. Hey, big girl, make a bag it up. Yeah, make a bag it up. Wobble, baby, wobble. All right. Good times. We left off here. Is that right? My town, population, build and run. Yeah, class initialization. Pulled the Testing. Oh, I do remember one time one time, or many times rather, didn't have it pushed in all the way. That's probably, I hope that's all it was. Otherwise, you're just going to have to listen to me breathe. Ah, yeah. Okay. So then, now that we're jamming, as we said, classes do not get. Okay, so this is where we're. Member-wise initializer. What is a member-wise initializer? We wrote one yesterday. It is this dilly here. And so they're saying the member-wise initializer is an initializer that has parameters for all of the properties for a given type. And so in this case, a given type being a struct, the town struct. And so this is a type property, so that's not a stored property. This one is. So it's storing a value directly, and so that's why we see region in this initializer. Population also meets that criteria right there, brother. And, oh wait, hold on. But how come, okay, we'll have to ask it another. Or maybe that's not what this, fuck, I don't know. I don't. Because that does not fit the definition we just got. Or let's just do this. So we just showed it, the monster class. Can't start out with the bad understanding. Fuck my whole day up. All right, so then I'll just say in the below Swift code, is there a member-wise, what do they call it? Member-wise, god dang, goldfish memory. Initializer, gosh, jeez. Okay, a member-wise initializer. There is not one. Okay, so that isn't one. Looks like one, but it's not. In the provided Swift code, there is no member-wise initializer. Member-wise initializer is an automatically synthesized initializer provided by Swift for structures and classes in some cases that do not have any custom initializers. It initializes each stored property with a parameter of the same name and type. Oh, okay, so then what am I missing here? You've already seen examples using a class's default initializer. Yeah. Classes get a default empty initializer if you provide default values to all properties. Oh yeah, I have to remember this. They literally said that like 4 different times, but okay, so it's different with classes. Even though we're not going to use classes, we're going to go through it just because I think we should, but we're not going to use them. Everything, literally, they've even said it. Everything's just more complicated, needlessly complicated with inheritance, brother. You've already seen examples. Or no, we read that part. Do not write your own. Yeah, this explains why you give your classes default values before. It allowed you to take advantage of the free empty initializer. So we had previously, where's the class? Yeah, we had. Oh, what's still here? I mean, that's a default value. So that's what they're saying. So if they all have default values, then you can use a member-wise initializer, and it'll just create it for you with parameters that match the names of your properties. Similar to, but not the same thing, but it would look similar to this, since, you know, population, region, that kind of thing. But those are different, so my bad. Okay, so, but that's what that is. Thus, you were able to get an instance of the zombie class with code like let Fred the zombie equal zombie, with the empty parentheses indicating that you were using the default initializer. Oh, I need to highlight that. That's a highlighter for sure, brother. Hiccup. As we said before, classes do not get a free member-wise initializer like structs. Oh, okay, I see. So with structs, you wouldn't necessarily have to have default value. I don't know. Let's just power through it because classes. Classes on classes, initialization and class inheritance. Open monster Swift, yeah. And modify the class to give it an initializer. Let me make that a little bit bigger. We don't need quite so much room. Dang, how did it skip so many? There we go. Okay. Open monster Swift and modify the class to give it an initializer. Also remove the default. Hit that space there. OCD attack. Okay. Also remove the default value of monster from the name property. All right. Class monster. And what'd you do, brother? You want me to get rid of the default monster property? Line 16 goes bye-bye. And then beneath our computed victim pool, we got init. It's a good day to go swimming, innit? Town, monster name, monster name, type annotation with a colon, and then string is our type. We're not indicating a return type here, so no arrow syntax. I guess you would never do that with an init, although it is technically a function. Self. So self referring to this very instance. Self.town is equal to town. If it's not nil, and then name is equal to monster name. Now what we learned yesterday, just to wait, what's the problem? You got I didn't add the, I was like, what's going on here? Name string above victim pool. So we do want var name string. Now error goes away, yeah? Great. Okay, so yesterday with respect to the initializer. So just looking at the, how do I go up? V for visual, and then what? How do I? Yeah. Okay. So this block of code here, the initializer, we have to use the self declaration here, or not declaration, what would you call that? We call self, I guess, maybe. Anyway, so here we have to use the self dot town because the variable's name is the same as the actual property. So town. If the property, in this case monster name, or no, sorry, if the parameter monster name, since this doesn't match the actual property that we're updating, so it's actually name and we're calling it monster name here in the parameter, right? But we're making name equal to monster name, but clearly they're not the same. So in that sense, we don't have to use self, but since they match on this one, that's why we have to use it. So remember that, because I will not. But that's just one of those, swiftly things you must know. Now init town, okay, we got that name, monster name, okay. So this initializer has two arguments. One for an optional instance of the town type, optional here, yep. And another for the name of the monster. Yes. The values for these arguments are assigned to the class's properties within the initializer's implementation. Once again, note that the argument for the town in the initializer matches the property name on the class. So you have to set the property's value. Okay, so that's what we would call it when we set it. Okay, so you have to set the property's value by accessing it through self. Yeah. You do not have to do this for name because the initializer's parameter has a different name. Now that you have added this initializer, you may notice that the toolbar is indicating that there is a compiler error. As before, if the error does not appear automatically, try to run the program. Okay, we don't see it, so we'll run it. Command R. It's building 4 of 13. Oh, there we go. Missing arguments for parameters town. Monster name in call. Oh, right, because we did not update it here. Okay. And your previous use of zombie to get an instance of this class is no longer satisfying the compiler. The error states missing argument for parameters town, monster name in call, signifying that the compiler is expecting zombie's initializer to include parameters for town and monster name. This expectation may seem strange because you did not provide an initializer to the zombie class that required those parameters. Inheritance, baby. Duh. We hate it, but we know it. In fact, you provided no initializer to this class whatsoever. Instead, you have been relying on the empty initializer the compiler gives you for free when your properties have default values. That is the source of the error. Zombie no longer gets the free empty initializer that you were using earlier. Why not? Because we defined our own initializer. Automatic initializer inheritance. AII. Yeah, I know about AII, did you? Yeah. That's the next thing. It's coming up. Automatic initializer inheritance. Classes do not typically inherit their superclasses initializers. Classes do not typically. That's like when, I'm not picking on girls here. I'm just saying, as a man, it's my point of reference. But, when they say, I usually never do this. Okay. Okay. I believe you. Classes do not typically. Oh shit! Where was I? I amused myself a little too much, and I lost my spot. This feature of Swift is intended to prevent. Oh, here we go. Classes do not typically inherit their superclasses initializers. Superclass being the parent class. So in this case, monster being the superclass to zombie. This feature of Swift is intended to prevent subclasses from inadvertently providing initializers that do not set values on all properties of the subclass type. This feature of Swift is intended. How did I get? There's like shit on there. Okay. They do not typically inherit. This feature of Swift is intended to prevent subclasses like zombie from inadvertently providing initializers that do not set values on all the properties of the subclass type. Oh, okay, yeah. Right, so you don't, by default, you don't inherit from the superclass because, as we know, like if we go look at zombie, well, here's a good example. So override. We're overriding the spooky noise from monster because this one is gur, but on zombie we override with brains. Well, that's not a good example because it would still, that's the same value. So there has to be a better example. Basically anything in zombie that is not in monster. So I think walks with limp would be a good example. That's a property in zombie. So you see zombie type monster. So it's a subclass, but this walks with limp is unique to zombie. Yeah, there's no here. Okay, so that's a good example. That's a better, well, it's the only correct example I can offer to you. But yeah, that makes sense. So you wouldn't want to inherit at least not by default, the initializer because it might not satisfy. It might not provide all values for the subclass given you can have different properties. Okay, there we go. We got it out. All right, so then nonetheless, oh wait, where was I? This feature is intended to prevent from because subclasses frequently add properties that do not exist in the superclass. Yeah, requiring some classes to have their own initializers helps prevent types from being partially initialized with incomplete initializers. It has being partially, yeah. Nonetheless, there are circumstances in which a class does automatically inherit its superclass's initializers. If your subclass provides default values for all new properties, it adds. Oh, so it just knows if it's there, it will inherit it. If your subclass provides default values for all new properties, it adds. Okay. Then there are two scenarios in which it will inherit its superclass's initializers. First case, if the subclass, so if zombie does not implement any designated initializers, it will inherit its superclass's designated initializers. Oh, okay. And so we have no init here. Therefore, certainly would, by that rule, inherit the superclass initializer. Okay. Second case would be if the subclass provides all its superclass designated initializers. If the subclass provides all its superclasses designated initializers. If the subclass provides all its superclasses designated initializers. Oh. Provides was kind of throwing me there, but okay. Either by overriding or by inheriting them, it will inherit all the superclasses convenience initializers. Okay, but well, I guess it doesn't matter because either way, well, first of all, that's why we're not going to use classes, but the compiler would catch it, at least to that extent. Like here, it caught it for us. So that's nice. That's nice. So it's doing a check. It's just still just whether it's through inheritance or not, the same rules that we learned yesterday still apply. We have to initialize every property at the end of the day within a given type. Okay, so your zombie type falls within the first of these two scenarios, which is if the subclass does not implement any designated initializers, it will inherit superclasses. Designated initializers. Okay. It is inheriting the monster type's sole designated initializer. I'm here. Because it provides default values for all new properties it adds. Meaning what? What does that mean? Oh, yeah. Okay, so if that's an override private, that's a method. Yeah, so if I take away the default value, then I should get another error somewhere. Yeah. So class zombie has, there we go, no initializers, because now it can no longer inherit the monster one because I no longer meet the criteria for this second rule. By inheriting all the, yeah, okay, well that's good. Cool. Great. No, I mean, it really is good. Okay, so your zombie type falls within the first two scenarios. It is inheriting the monster type sole designated initializer because it provides default values for all new properties it adds and does not define its own designated initializer. And because the zombie type is... I got my... Shut the fuck up, GoDaddy. Jeez. "27 minutes away." Oh, yeah, I got plenty of time, brother. Okay, so where were we? Two scenarios there. No longer using providing the free empty list. Yeah. The signature for the initializer zombie inherits. The signature for the initializer zombie inherits is init town monster name. So yeah, right there. So we inherit this guy here, town monster name, that's that signature here, with parameters for town and monster name. Update Fred the zombie's initialization in main Swift to include the parameters and remove the error. Okay, so now we need, where the hell is it? Oh, get rid of my town. Fred the zombie dot town equal my town, so that goes away. And then let Fred the zombie, capital A, end of the line, insert them style town. Wait, town. Oh yeah, my town. Okay, my town, and then monster name Fred. Run that, brother. All right, cool. Now, when you create an instance of the monster or zombie type, you give the instance a value for its town and name properties. Oh, okay. Okay. Yep. Build and run the app. The errors should be gone and the results are the same as before. Yes. Designated initializers for classes. Classes use designated initializers as their primary initializers. Use designated. As part of this role, designated initializers are responsible for ensuring that the class's properties are all given values before initialization is ended. If a class has a superclass, then its designated initializer must also call its superclass's designated initializer. If a class has a superclass, then its designated initializer must also call its superclasses. Okay. So it's going to have that funky looking, the self init. You've already written a designated initializer for the monster class, right? That's what we just, yep. Just looking at that. The monster class's initializer ensures that all its properties are given values before initialization, that damn word, completes. Initialization. Currently, the zombie type gives default values to all its properties. All right, just the one. Yeah, walks with limp. Okay. So the initializer you defined for monster works fine for zombie. Still, it would be better if zombie defined its own initializer so that you could customize its initialization. In zombie.swift, start by removing the default values for the zombie properties. Okay. Yep. Get rid of that with limp. Var walks with limp is now just simply type bool, no longer by default true. And then is falling apart. That one gets me every time. No longer false by default, and now just simply type annotation and it's a bool. All right. Removing these default values trigger a compiler error. Class zombie has no initializers. Yep. Yeah, we just saw that. That's what I was trying before. With no default values assigned, the zombie class needs an initializer to give its properties values before initialization completes. Add a new initializer to the zombie class to solve this problem. Okay. Where you want it, brother? Under falling apart. Okay, init limp is a bool. Where the hell? Oh, falling apart. Bool. Town is town, and monster name is a string. Open up that body, bust it wide open, and then walks with limp is equal to limp. And since that name is different from the property, we don't have to call or set it with self is falling apart. And super. Ooh, super in it. What does that do? Town. Monster name. So, okay, so super, just guessing here, brother, but we use super since it's a subclass and we want to override the name because monster also has a name here. Yeah. Okay. Otherwise, I assume it would just use. You probably get an error because you can't do that anyway. You have to define it. Okay, so yeah, But that's what that means, I bet. But we'll see. So where's the next? Okay. Your new initializer takes care of the error because you're now ensuring that the zombie's properties have values by the end of initialization. There are two parts to what you've added here. First, the new initializer sets the values of the walks with limp and is falling apart properties via the limp and falling apart arguments. These properties are specific to the zombie class. These properties are specific to the zombie class. So the designated initializer initializes them with appropriate values. Word up, brother. Second, you call the designated initializer of zombie superclass. Oh, that's what the super does. As you saw in chapter 15, super points to a subclass's superclass. Oh, hot dog. So the syntax super.init oh, you rat scallion. That is the same, isn't it? That's literally the same signature, town and monster name as here. Town and monster name. You slick son of a bitch. All right, so I get it. Super, where do we go? Yeah. So the syntax super.init with this signature that we just looked at passes the values of the parameters town and monster name from the initializer on the zombie class to the designated initializer on the monster class. Passes the value of the parameters. Okay. This in turn calls the designated initializer on monster, which will ensure that the zombie's properties for town and name will be set. Here's a graphical. Okay, so zombie. So something needs zombie. So it initializes, and then that signature calls the one in monster with the corresponding. Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, okay, about that. I wasn't looking at the. Okay, so this is. Well, what they're saying is we would have to do this either way, even if I thought it was super. We had to use super because we were using the same parameter name as monster here, but that's not the case. It sounds like you'd have to do that either way. If you're using a class, you have to call the parent class or the superclass's designated initializer. So either way, you'd have this somewhere up in there in your subclass. If your subclass has a custom initializer. Yeah. Okay. You might be wondering why you called the superclass's initializer last. Because zombie's initializer is the designated initializer on the zombie class. It is responsible for initializing all the properties it introduced. Ugh. Lord have mercy. Okay, so after these properties have been given values, the designated initializer of a subclass is responsible for calling its superclass's initializer. Okay, that's fine. I mean, I'm not going to linger on it because, like I said, we're not going to use classes. There is a new error to fix in main Swift. Okay. Okay. Missing arguments for parameters. Limp, falling apart. Okay. Zombie. Limp. Nope. Wait, where's that at? This fucking thing's pulling my hair. There is a new error to fix. Switch to this file. You will see that the compiler is telling you that the initializer for zombie is missing an argument. Fix this by updating Fred the Zombie's initializer to include all the arguments in the initializer you added to zombie. So our limp is missing and falling apart. Ahead of... Oh, yeah, I see. Okay. Limp. False. And falling apart. False. Okay. On the caller, so we... yes, I see. Because they no longer have default values. So we have to pass it in now. For the two unique properties to zombie, which are these two, limp and falling apart. Okay. Fred the Zombie is now getting initialized with all the information that it needs to be ready for use. Alright, we're going to build that, brother. Let's see. There we go. Okay. We're there. Convenience initializers for classes. Unlike designated initializers, convenience initializers are not responsible for making sure all of a class's properties have a value. Instead, they do the work that they are defined to do and then hand off that information to either another convenience initializer or a designated initializer. Okay. No idea what you mean, brother. All convenience initializers call across to another initializer on the same class. Eventually, I want to go on a rant so bad, but that's okay. Eventually, a convenience initializer must call through to its class's designated initializer. The relationship between convenience and designated initializers defines a path by which a class's stored properties receive initial values. Make a convenience initializer on the zombie type. This initializer will provide arguments for whether the zombie instance walks with a limp and whether the instance is falling apart. It will omit parameters for town and monster name callers. It will omit parameters for town and monster name. Callers of this initializer will only be responsible for providing arguments to this initializer's parameters. Okay. Sheesh. So init bool. Okay, so right below it. Okay. Convenience. It's an oxymoron. Convenience being used with classes. Falling apart. Bool. Open up that body, bust it wide open, and then self init. So referring to the instance itself. Limp. I always wondered, for the longest time I wondered why the hell there was so much redundancy when like code gets written in this way, and it all finally makes sense to me. But you know, it's like $, this equals this and that equals that, self, health, self. It's like, good God, what the hell? What's happening? Is falling apart. A lot of that too, though, honestly, is just part of what they call tutorial hell, and because it's just bullshit content. Everyone's remaking the same bullshit. Oh, let me crank out these framework videos, use this framework, to do that. All the same shit. Never mind, I'm not gonna say that. But falling apart equal falling apart. We are falling apart. Nil monster name. Monster name is, oh brother, I can't see over my big ass button. So Fred, close that mug up, and then we're still in scope. So if walks with limp, and that is a bool. Walks with limp is of type bool, so it assumes true for the condition. So it's like saying if it's true, and this would be like saying if it's not true. So if walks with limp is true, then run this chunk of code, which is print this zombie has a bad knee. Yeah, this streamer has a bad knee. Okay, so yeah, right there. Guess I'm falling apart. All right, you mark an initializer as a convenience, as a convenience initializer with the convenience keyword. This keyword tells the compiler that the initializer will need to delegate to another initializer on the class, eventually calling to a designated initializer. After this call, an instance of the class is ready for use. Yeah, so it's a lot of ceremony around the same idea here. We just need values for all the properties. Point blank period. And the rest are just rules, fluff. Here, the convenience initializer calls the designated initializer on the zombie class. Here, the convenience initializer calls the designated initializer on the zombie class. Okay, what does that mean? So convenience initializer, I must have written something wrong. What did I do here? Missing argument label. Use of, did you mean, what? Oh, my bad. What's that? Self used before self init call or assignment to self. What? God damn it. What did I do? Fucked it up. Convenience, init, limp, bool, falling apart, bool, open it up, self init, limp, falling apart. Oh, it's not is, it's just falling apart. Little f. Here we go, brother. Okay. Now. After this call, an instance of the class ready for use. Here the convenience initializer calls the designated initializer on the zombie class, which is what this self init does, because it's so self references the instance itself, so that would put it in this scope, at the top level of this type, which puts it in the same scope as the initializer, so it can find it, and it knows to use this one because, well, it's the only one for one, but also this matches the signature up here. Limp, falling apart, town, monster name. So that's what that's saying there. And where, maybe I should try a different color. I keep losing my damn spot and I cannot for the life of me. Is there like I think I saw like a ruler or something, a ruler thing. Wide margin theme. While being narrated by system reader or. Oh, there we go. Yeah, reading ruler. What does this do? Oh, cool. Green? That doesn't make sense. How do you use it though? I don't know about that, brother. How the... Oh my god. I hate this fucking thing. Never mind. Just forget it. Dude. I do need to take some time today to figure out better interface for the... I hate this thing. I'm not sure when the app got shitty. It was good at one point. I really liked it. I remember, but not sure what happened, Kendall. But yeah, use a convenience initializer. What page was I fucking on? After convenience. Okay, we were here. After the convenience initializer calls the designated initializer, the instance is fully prepared for use. That means you can check the value of the walks with limp property on the instance. After the convenience initializer calls the designated, the instance is fully... Oh, yeah, sure. That means you can check the value of the walks with limp property here on the instance. If you had tried to do this check before calling across to the zombie's designated initializer, the compiler would have issued an error. Use of self in delegating initializer before self.init is called. Oh yeah, we saw that. Before, yeah. Wait, and that's because... I thought we had... Oh, there it is right there. It is falling apart. Oh, right. So before I had it here and we got that same error because... Or no, I put it... It was here. It was somewhere. I saw that error though, so I know what they're talking about. But okay. But yeah, that makes sense. That's fine. No need to belabor the point. So this error tells you that delegated initializer is trying to use self, which is needed to access the walks with limp property before it is ready for use. 17 shows a relationship between convenience and designated initializers. Yeah. So this just helps populate this and then ultimately has to call the one in the parent class anyway, because again, all we're trying to do is just initialize all properties with the value. That's it. So you can now create instance of the zombie type. Oh, my groceries are almost here. You can create instance of the zombie type with this convenience initializer, but remember that instances of zombie created with this convenience initializer will have nil for the town property and Fred for the name property, because that's what we're using there. Okay. Well, wait, not there, but because of what we're doing here. Fred the zombie, so it makes sense, Fred. But this could be anything, right? This doesn't have to be... It could be red. Okay, I was waiting for an error. I was just making sure that that's true. No, okay, but I get it. Okay, so that makes sense. So then, brothers, you can now create instance zombie with this. And oh, so does that mean that now I can, could I go back to doing this then? Oops. Oh no, I still can't. Okay. All right. Creating a convenient zombie. Build and run your program. You will see that convenient zombie has a bad knee. Where do you see that? Creating a convenient zombie. Oh, I didn't see that part right there. Okay, so in main Swift, you want me to add it where? Print description. Okay. Aquí. Var convenient. So we're creating a mutable variable, convenient zombie, assignment operator, equal sign. Is equal to, and now we call the subclass zombie type limp. Will make us true. We have to pass this in because there's no default value. It's just a bool. And falling apart, same story. It's just a bool, no default, so we got to pass it in. So falling apart, false. Limp, true, and then everything else should get taken care of. Pow. Oh, there it is. If you squint down there on the bottom right hand corner, brother, right down here, this zombie has a bad knee. Okay. All right. Let's see. Required initializers. Required. Blah, 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 blah. Oh. Required initializers for classes. You've learned that sometimes an initializer is inherited by a subclass, and sometimes it is not. Yeah, I need to highlight these rules, actually. Where did they go? There was... this right here. God damn it, no. There we go. Your new, we got there. Okay. You've learned that sometimes an initializer is inherited by a subclass, and sometimes it is not, depending on which other initializers the subclass may have implemented. But what if you want to be able to create instances of a class and all its subclasses with the same initializer? Wait. Hold on, let me... Okay, yeah. Okay. For example, suppose you want all subclasses of the monster class. Jeez. Of the monster class to provide an initializer that takes values for the monster's name and the town it is terrorizing, or nil, if the monster has not yet found a town. So I want all subclasses of the monster class to provide an initializer that takes values for the monster's name and town. Or, yeah. Okay. To do so, you mark the initializer with the keyword required. Oh, that's cool. I like that. Man, okay, brother. Keyword required to indicate that all subclasses of this type, I'm still not going to use classes, must provide the given initializer. But we could do, I mean, they told us we could do something very similar with protocols. So either by overriding or inheriting it. Switch to monster to make this change. Okay. Switch to monster to make this change. Required in it. Oh, brother. Required. Okay. The sole designated initializer on the monster class is now required. Okay. I feel like it was before too, though. We couldn't use it otherwise without giving it, but that's okay. Let them cook. So Subclasses must override or inherit this initializer. Oh, okay. So on upstream or downstream, it forces a different level of accountability. Okay, that makes sense. Really? Build your programs to check for errors. Yeah, I do really like that, because now you can kind of dictate at least the way people would access your, like if you're writing certain types, that's your job. You know, creating some structures, like a little mini system you're adding on to a program, like a little ancillary modularize. Yeah, cool. Okay, so the sole designated initializer on monster class is now required. Subclasses must override or inherit this initializer. Build your program to check for errors. Command R. Required initializer init. Must be provided by. Oh, right. Yep. I presume. Required initializer init must be provided by a subclass of monster. Insert required init town monster. Wait, what? But I'm in. Oh, this is zombie. It took me there. I was like, why is it? Okay. We won't insert that code, but that's probably correct. So, required init. Build your program, check for errors. This change creates a compiler error as revealed by Xcode's toolbar. Select the red icon to display the issue navigator and see what is wrong. The error reads required initializer init must be provided by subclass of monster. It is telling you that you are not yet implementing the required initializer on the zombie class because zombie defines its own initializer. Okay, yep. Referring to this? Yes. Okay. It does not inherit any of its superclasses designated initializers, including required ones. Oh, I see. So you just have to be even more explicit about it, given the required status that we placed on the monster designated initializer. So now that it's required, that forces an explicit override or what was the other word? Yeah, override or inherit. Yeah, it does neither, so you have to be explicit about doing one or the other. Okay, so brother, required init. Oh, that's it? That's all I gotta do? Adding the required initializer in zombie.swift. Required. So required init. But what about the other one, man? It doesn't show it, so I guess we don't want to delete it yet. So I'm going to leave it there beneath convenience, and we put this there. Required init town, and then monster name type string. Open the body up, bust it wide open. That walks with limp. False is falling. Oops. Is falling apart. Is false. And super. And then that's where we. Okay. This is calling the designated initializer on the parent class or the superclass. Monster name. Okay. To implement a. Oh, my groceries are here. We're not done yet. Well, I'm not done yet. We're going to take a brief intermission. I got to go grab my groceries because they're outside in the Texas heat baking. And my girls don't kill me if I let it spoil. And brother, it was expensive. So I'm about to BRB. And then I'm going to take me a little bathroom break. So if you need to do the same, go ahead and go. Okay, brother, you're excused. And we'll be back shortly. I would estimate, I don't know, a maximum of 20 minutes, but more like probably closer to 12 minutes, if that helps. So, get the hell on, brother. That's probably the worst. Let's see. What's 15 minutes from now? 1:20. Let's just call it 1:30. 1:30 CST. I guess that doesn't make sense either. There we go, brother. All right, guys. Divide and conquer for a brief moment, and we'll resume shortly. We here, we here. Let's get together. Let's get together, yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's get together, yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's get together, yeah, 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 yeah. Hey Siri, start a timer for 2 hours.
2 hours. Counting down.
For I am back. God damn, the chair's a little flimsy, brother. Okay. And on the dot. Punctuality. Ever the important attribute of oneself. I guess, would you call punctuality a skill? If you were really reaching, I guess. If you really needed to, you could do that. All right, what were we doing? This is ladies, let them check up on it. Check on me tonight. Ooh, boy, you're looking like you like what you see. Won't you come over and work up on it? All right. Anyway. Thought this was my 2010 pop stream for a second. My bad. All right, so we were going over initializers, and we were in class. Okay, for subclasses, we had just defined the required here. How does that look? Let me trying to see if that looks decent. We'll just pick it up here. To implement a superclass's required initializer, you prefix the subclass's implementation. You prefix the subclass's implementation of the initializer with the required keyword. To implement a superclass's required initializer, you prefix the subclass's implementation of the initializer with the required keyword. Our key here. Okay. It is implied by marking. Yeah. Unlike other functions that you must override if you inherit them from your superclass. Yeah, that's different. You do not mark required initializers with the override keyword. It is implied by marking the initializer with required. I'm just going to say it. I don't like that. Why? They were doing so good. Oh well, we're not going to use classes, so it doesn't matter. But once again, you see all the wonkiness already, brother. We're learning 2 pages of it. Inheritance is just dookie trash, but nonetheless, we persevere. You never know. My assumption, the reason I'm pushing forward, or suffering through, as they say, it would probably, in all honesty, be very useful when it comes to interfaces, so it'll be good to know how these work. Because I briefly scanned some of the SwiftUI code just in passing, and classes everywhere, brother. So, I mean, yeah, we'll just gotta know it. Can't like it all. So then, it's implied. Okay. that's another sticky note material, just a thing to know about Swift, as I like to say. So then I'll just grab this whole I thought I could leave, oh, it's right there. Example of overriding an initial a required init. Example of overriding a required init from a superclass from within a subclass. Override is implied. Override. One too many R's. There we go. Override. Whatever. Okay, so where are we at? Apply marking. Okay. Your implementation of this required initializer makes it a designated initializer for the zombie class. Why, you ask? Good question. Thanks, brother. Recall that designated initializers are responsible for initializing the type's properties and for delegating up to the superclass's initializer. Okay, yeah. This implementation does exactly those two things, just with different syntax for some reason. You can therefore use this initializer to instantiate the zombie class. At this point, you might be wondering, how many designated initializers does zombie have? Wondering a few things. The answer is 2. Init, limp, town, monster name. So yeah, so our first one that we wrote over yonder. Weird, so there's 2. And init, town, monster name, the required that we have down here. It's a bit much, you know, like what? Really? This seems, I mean, the interaction that we're describing isn't outlandish, but yeah, it just seems like a lot. Recall that designated initializers are responsible for initializing, well, okay, I just gotta say this real quick though. I mean, to be fair, this is not something you would necessarily be, I mean, there would be a pattern to this. Like, so even though maybe it's a lot of code subjectively, I mean, that's subjective. This could be nothing. Like compared to, what's like a really verbose thing that used to, like, I don't know, bash scripts. Like, you ever written some of those? Like, some things just tend to meander on in terms of the verbosity. So I guess it really doesn't matter so long as it's expressive and it gets the job done. Yeah, I don't know. We're not going to use classes anyway. I just got to remember that. So there's no need to nitpick, brother. All right, so then you can therefore, yeah, so it's doing those two things. So it has, a subclass can have 2 or more, maybe? Not sure. But at least 2 designated initializers on a subclass. Having more than one designated initializer is completely fine and is not uncommon. So, yeah. Let me just look and see. What was the the definition again. Designated initializer. Okay, so our first encounter was when we first saw it today. So designated are responsible for making sure that an instance's properties all have values before. Oh, right, simple enough. So let me go ahead and let's make you orange, brother. And defines designated inconvenience initializer, yeah. Okay, so that makes sense. So when I remove the Karen in me from wanting to nitpick on the term, the description at least makes sense, because if we know all we're trying to do is just get value, make sure when we instantiate something all properties have values, knowing that, and then we come look at zombie and we look at the first one that we wrote here. Well, wait, that's not true, is it? I was trying to... How are these working together? How about that? How are they working together? So what does this one do that the other one does not do? This one calls up to the superclass, but this required is only... I mean, this required is driven by the fact that in monster, we have the required for this initializer. So that just has to be there for any subclass of it. And then, so that's town and monster name. And this is also populating walks with limp and is falling apart, which are the properties that are unique to the subclass. And so this one is doing super so okay, maybe I'm just thinking about it the wrong way. So I should really think about it more like, I just keep wanting to, I'm conflating in my head, I'm conflating the terms designated and primary. So I'm making, because like in other domains, if we would speak about designations as it's like almost synonymous with its definition, like it just describes what a thing does and when it can do it. But this is more like a kind of almost like a categorical. It just, if anything meets the criteria of the definition of a designated initializer, then it's a designated initializer. But it doesn't mean in this case that it's the, like, designation does not imply some kind of like top of the hierarchy, there's only one per type kind of a thing, which is how I was thinking about it. But since both of these fulfill the requirement, meaning town and monster name are required on the initializer from monster, so that's fulfilled, and we know that override is implied. Well, it's not fulfilled, but it's overridden by what we have here against the same signature. So it accepts that, and then we still give the unique properties to zombie, which are here, we still give those values of false. So all properties would still get a value. And then here with this one, we do it with a different signature, different way, but it still fulfills the requirements of giving all properties values. So limp, and then we make walks with limp equal limp is falling apart, gets a value, and then yeah, and then we know this is a call to the designated initializer in the superclass, hence super. Okay, I mean, I think I get it. As long as we know the requirement, and then we also know the fact that this is only here because of the way we define the type. So it's not like these would move in sets. This could potentially, like, both of these could be gone, and it would still, if we just had the one, we wouldn't get an error. We would just have to update the monster type or change it or whatever. But as a hard rule, it's not like these would always move in like a set of 3 or whatever. So they said it's not uncommon, so maybe you do see it a lot, but I think I get it well enough. So we get a free member. No, did I skip back the general syntax? Oh, I did. I'm still in a search. Okay. Yeah, so we were a little further ahead. Yeah, here. Okay. Recall that designated initializers are responsible for initializing the type's properties and for delegating up to the superclass's initializer. This implementation does exactly those two things. At this point, you might be wondering, how many designated initializers does Zombie have? The answer is 2. We looked at those 2. Having more than one designated initializer is completely fine and is not uncommon. Okay. And just to make sure I'm not putting a big hole in my understanding here, I just want to make sure they didn't have it a separate definition for primary initializer. There was, bro. Okay. Designated initializers for classes. Classes use designated initializers as their primary initializers. Okay. Where else? Oh, that's literally the only mention of it in this book. All right, so I'm not gonna sweat that too hard. I think the basis is there. All right, so then we are at de-initialization. De-initialization is part of the process of removing instances of a class from memory when they are no longer needed. Okay, let me save that there, guy. We'll make him blue. Conceptually, it is the opposite of initialization. De-initialization is limited to reference types. It is not available for value types. It's not available for value types. That's interesting. Okay. In Swift, a deinitializer provides an opportunity to do any final maintenance before the instance is deallocated. Any final maintenance. Okay. It is called automatically immediately prior to the removal of an instance from memory. If the class is a subclass, then the superclass's deinitializer will execute next. Superclass is okay. And on up the chain before the instance's deallocation. The details of memory management are covered in greater detail in chapter 24. I can't wait to get there. I'm really curious how Arc is holding up. I can't really get a good pulse on, just anecdotally, like through research, how performant Swift really is. It's kind of all over the place, but yeah. But it makes sense to introduce the idea of deinitialization while we are discussing initialization. But I mean, I guess generally speaking, it's certainly, I would say at worst, it's Go, and maybe at best Rust. Seems like. Where is the... Which, I mean, there's plenty of things. I mean, Docker's fucking written in Go. Cockroach DB is written in Go, so I mean, likely we'll never max out that anyway, but it's always fun to just compare Piston contests and whatnot. So in Swift, a deinitializer provides an opportunity to do any final maintenance before the instance is deallocated. It's called automatically. Oh, we read that. The details of memory, we read that too. A class can only have one deinitializer. Deinitializers are written with D in it. That's definitely the first time I've ever seen that word. They do not use the func keyword or an argument list, as they are not like methods. You cannot call them directly. Let's see a deinitializer in action in the zombie class. Okay. Deinit. Print. Oops. Capital Z. Zombie. Escape character. String interpolation. Is no longer with us. Sad. Rot in peace, brother. Your new deinitializer simply logs a farewell to the zombie instance that is about to be deallocated from memory. Simply logs a farewell. Notice that the deinitializer accesses the zombie's name. Deinitializers have full access to an instance's properties and methods. I'm gonna highlight that. I wonder what... I mean, I like that, but I mean, surely there's another way to go about it, but it's intriguing because then you could... I mean, I'm just thinking that would be a very simple way of... If you designed your program where, like with my app, they'll be working with a lot of sandbox type what if scenarios. Like you take real data from your, query your inventory levels from your database in your ERP, and then make a copy, bring it into the program. And then it'll let them do a lot of what if, like what if sales go up 3%? In 6 months, where will our, what does the P&L look like at that point? That kind of stuff. So a lot of different dynamic values that one will affect the other, kind of a thing. And something like this would be cool because with each, like, what if, that could be represented by a class in this case with all of these different properties, you know, dates and the range and the inventory levels, the item numbers involved, the customers involved, the dates involved, all kinds of shit, right? So just as because something like that, like, you could put a lot of time into it. You don't necessarily want to lose that work. Maybe as a fail-safe, if something does go boom, maybe it can fail gracefully and like print just like in very ugly fashion, but at least you would have the data, you know, like in the bottom right hand, just either to a file or, I mean, not to the console, the customer wouldn't be looking there, but yeah, I mean, print to a file, print it somewhere, send it somewhere, the data. Or even on exit, you could give them like session times. If you're using, say, like an API, like the AI one, you could tell them how many tokens they spent, you know, all kinds of cool stuff. Like I love programs that tell me stuff like that. It's just fun, you know, kind of like to me it's no different than like a game is a program, and you play a match, and then after the match you get, you know, headshots, accuracy, time in the hill, kills, deaths, assists, you know what I mean? So something like that. I think that's kind of where my head's at. So open main Swift to exercise the zombies dinit method. Open, oh, what is that stupid bubble there? Main Swift to exercise the zombies dinit method. You are going to set Fred the zombie to be nil at the end of the file. Okay. Doing so will trigger the process of removing this instance from memory. Okay. Oh, pardon me, brother. All right. There's some other. You know, I've been seeing these videos. You know, those damn shorts that get to scrolling, suck you in. But you know, when the chiropractor wraps the towel, like he has these like big ass, puts them on the bed. These two big things come up. They look like those big ass rubber stoppers that they have in the car wash, keep you in, big old bumper car things. So he like slams each side of their waist. Wow. So they can't escape. Then he takes a towel and he fucking wraps it around their neck like this, right around their neck, like this. And then he just, and then pulls their fucking neck. And it's like the camera angle is right up on their face, like right up, you know, the most flattering angle, obviously, right up under the chin, you know. And then they just like scream, and not pain, but it's like, I mean, I don't know if you've ever, I've never gone to the chiropractor. I actually dated this girl in 7th grade, and her mom was paralyzed by the chiropractor. Still to this day, it's really sad. And I know they were talking about going to court way back then. I hope that got situated, because can you believe that? I mean, that's just so sad, man. And she was, the worst part about it, he hurt her, injured her and caused it. But she was still kind of mobile, just like literally was kind of walking crooked, because the adjustment obviously went very poorly. So she goes back to the same guy to fix it, and then he finished the job in the worst way, the other direction. So likely, you know, I'm sure, I would hope that's, you know, a very rare case, but that's why you won't catch me on one of them tables. I'll pull my own neck, brother. But yeah, nonetheless, it is still fun to kind of fantasize about how good of a pop that would be. You know, but these people have obvious, like, actual issues, not just like a stiff neck. So anyway, I digress. Open main Swift Text on the zombie's DNet method. You are going to set Fred the zombie to be nil. Okay, we read that. There are some other changes you will need to make before you can wave goodbye to Fred the zombie. You need to declare Fred the zombie with var instead of let. Ah, yes. Where you at, Freddy? There you are. How's that? Doing so will trigger the process of removing the. Oh no, wait. Where is it at? Oh yeah, with var. Also, because only optional types can be or become nil in Swift, you have to declare Fred the zombie as an optional zombie. Okay. Where is he? Oh, here. It is a zombie. Optional zombie. And this change means that you have to use optional chaining to unwrap the optionals value. Listing 1718 Fred, we hardly knew ye. These guys are funny. It's funny, guys. Okay, we made that change. Zombie, limp. Fred the zombie equals zombie. Yeah. And then so this has to become, oh right, just that single operator. Nice, brother. That's easy money. Look at that. Hell yeah. Okay, so then what else did we change? Print victim pool. Value of optional type zombie must be unwrapped. Oh right, we can't just do that anymore because it might be nil. So, oops. Victim pool. Where is it? Pool. Escape character. String interpolation. String. Oh no, wait, that looks different. String. What? Escape character. Oh, that should just be gone? No, that can't be gone. Print victim pool. Yeah, it's just right there. Okay, so victim string describing. This is weird. What is... I don't remember ever doing that. Or covering that. Fred the zombie. Dot victim pool. Invalid escape sequence in literal. Oh, it kept it. I couldn't see if it... Okay, yeah. So then that's... And I need one more over chat. Oops. God damn it. String. Oh, there's two of them. Jeez, dude. Okay, two. Ah, that's better. Alright, and then Fred the zombie. Optional. Victim pool, and then we do the same jazz down here for wait, I messed that up. So So we fixed the first print. Victim pool, string, Fred the zombie, victim pool. And then the optional. And then, okay, so that was the right one, string. Oh, I guess I did this wrong then initially because that's not what they have, but that has to be it because there's not another one. Okay, so string describing Fred the zombie, optional chaining, victim pool. Wait, so what is that doing? Okay, escape, then stringify, describing. Init describing creates a string representing the given value. Discussion. Use this initializer to convert an instance of any type to its preferred representation as a string instance. Oh, okay. Okay. Sounds like they convert in SQL. With some caveats, but yeah. Print string describing P. Okay. Cool. Alright, so then now what, brother? Oh, at the end, right? I gotta set it to nil now that we've done the optional chaining. Fred the zombie is nil. And then we run it, brother. Oop. Oh, victime pool. We were looking for victim pool. Sorry. It's incorrect. There. Now run it, brother. Zombie Fred is no longer with us. You created new strings using the string describing method when printing here. This is because the print function does not like to accept optional input. It does not like to accept, okay. But optional chaining produces optional return values. Yeah. The string describing initializer safely creates a new string for the print function. Okay. Build and run the program now to double check that your parentheses are balanced correctly. After the last change, you will see that you bid Fred the zombie farewell when the instance is deallocated. Yep. And we nailed it, brother. God damn, there's more initializers. Failable initializers. Sorry, I didn't mean to have that outburst. It's just, I'd really like to be... How many more of these are the... Oh, boy. At least they hear us. How am I remember all this? Fuck me, man. Excuse my French. We hear you. Well, I can't say... I shouldn't skip over. We will do it all. I'm bitching. But yeah, so... Oh, 3 hours. Cool. So we're going to call it there, folks, for today. Appreciate anybody that stopped by, anybody that's still by or here. But as far as what's on the docket for tomorrow, well, same as always, brother. So make sure you tune back in. We will be on tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time for episode 28 of this storied Learnalong. And also, on screen you see my tags, various tags. I prefer if you follow me on Twitter, on X, if that's cool with you, brother. Only because if you do, then you'll catch this stream that I'm putting on, obviously, the Learnalong. And then also check out my 100 Days of Ranked Halo Infinite that I'm doing. I'm on day 54, something like that, tonight. So that's every night 9 p.m. Central Standard Time till midnight-ish, till I get tired. But yeah, we're getting it in. Exciting stuff. Getting better, getting my old skills back. Drop a few headshots for you brothers. But yeah, make sure you check that out. Otherwise, I will see you here tomorrow. Love each other. Love yourselves. And eat something healthy for lunch, okay? Good day to you.